Hello, welcome. Tonight we have a very special guest with us, Max.
He knows more than Ollie.
We both have different backgrounds.
No, more, less.
We both bring
more,
we both bring
less.
some. We both.
More.
Oh, for fuck's sake, do it by yourselves.
Hey, the show's better now.
Come back.
I wonder how many times has it been in the bits that I've just stormed off? I think
Not enough.
Hello and welcome to NPCs of Tal'Dorei, reviewing one of the classical episodes of Critical Role with myself, Oliver, Dungeon Master, Dave, aka Stefan the Player, and Max, who you may recognise from Black Winter Nights, who's here to help us out.
AKA...
Oh, fuck.
The DM.
He's played two characters, that's the only thing that was tripping me up.
Sure. Sure that was it. What was his old character name?
It's not Zorro, but it's close.
Anyway, welcome. I'll get that by the end of the video, I promise. Reviewing.
Was that a Kazook?
Gazoo. See, I got it by the end of the video.
Yeah.
Promises kept. Mic drop. Ah, yeah. Anyway, we're not here to, well, we are kind of here to quibble. That's part of the reason we're here. But the main reason we're here is to talk, review and discuss episode 8, which was called Glass and Bone.
Yeah.
Because there was glass and bones in the episode.
Really? Where was the glass?
On the floor.
Yeah.
And so the bones were all...
I like it, you have that blank stare like, shit, he's called me out again.
I had that on a date once. I could not stop losing my train of thought. And I was just like, hey, yeah, Susan.
Whoa, you're on a date?
Well, I mean, it was a practice date with my mum.
Anyway,
did you get a number?
I already had it, actually. Anyway,
I like you said that like, actually I already have a number. Like,
mic drop.
Yeah.
Okay, we haven't got even slightly towards the actual topic, which is Critical Role.
Yes.
So, very classical episodes with Tibbs and everything, the old overlay, and at this point they've got the newish video.
Still getting food from the audience.
Yeah, we got food delivered once. That was nice.
From one of our players.
It still counts. Totally counts. Yeah, so basically they're still in the Durigar war camp from the previous episodes. They've now got Kima aboard with them.
Well, they're in Emberhold. They're not in the
correct.
war camp.
Right.
Yeah, so they've just defeated the king, King Morgul, and they're basically making a plot to find Grog.
Yes. So you may remember from last episode, evil queen woman took Grog through a dimension door and vanished. Now, Keyleth does mention at the start of this episode that the range on dimension door is about 1,000 miles.
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet, rather. 1,000 miles. But, so he must be somewhere in the vicinity, which gives them a little bit of hope of being able to track him down.
So how much Critical Role have you seen, Max?
I'm still watching them, but I'm up to about episode 107.
Oh, that's
pretty good.
That's pretty much a lot. More than 3/4 of it.
Yeah, nice.
And I know where it's headed, so...
Yeah, so you know what Tiberius and that. So
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on the dynamic they are now compared to what they are?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Tiberius, or... What's his name? Orion. Can be a bit of like a power player, and I think there's a bit of jarring with him and the other players in that. I also feel like... I know in some of the earlier episodes, you can see Matt and the others on Tiberius's turn saying, what are you going to do? Because he just is thinking through like 5 different things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
It slows down, but he's a fun character. And he's powerful. Like, he does a lot of really cool stuff. Like in this episode with the telekinesis, with the stone platform that they used to try and get over some obstacles.
So that happens near the end of it. So we'll run through the episode. So first of all, they kind of get their bearings and try and work out what's the next step.
Correct.
And they kind of decide to actually have a bit of a rest. They're going to use Hunter's Mark to actually track Queen Europe.
Yeah, so essentially Vex remembers that she still has Hunter's Mark on this person and can use that to track if they're still nearby.
And then Tiberius comes out of the stone form after Pike decides to cure him.
Yeah, Greater Restoration, or was it Lesser Restoration?
Greater,
which it does say in the Dungeon Master's manual, if you are petrified, that is one way to get out of it.
And he keeps the voice, I like that.
Yeah. He continues to play the god of the Durigar, because he thought it was fun to play.
And they have a lot of banter. This is a big kind of classic Vox Machina planning, which to be honest, they didn't really know what to do. And then this is one of the few cases. Sorry, I just want to get this thought out. This is one of the few cases that Matt actually railroads them, and I actually picked it up because Kima tells them exactly what they need to do.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say one of the ways you know that they're stuck for ideas is they start asking the NPCs what to do. So essentially saying straight to the Dungeon Master, help.
Yeah, and then Matt, cause this is one of the few times you actually pick it up, and it's okay to railroad when.
In certain times,
if your party's just kind of going around in circles, just
stuck in the past.
Yeah, you kind of just say, "Hey, I remember this."
Yeah.
NPC. Yeah.
I generally try to do that through a vision or something. You have a vision. It says, "Go down that way."
Yeah, our party just prays. Whenever our spells, we don't know what to do, just pray. And my character doesn't like that, and it's just like, oh god.
We need a magic 8 ball just to like, consult the DM.
Well, one of my players now has a tattoo that is essentially a magic 8 ball. A certain word will light up based on what they say.
Ask again later.
Yeah, exactly. They all just say ask again later. So Keela says she's mostly out of spells at this point, and you got to have your druid with her spell slots, so they take a bit of a rest.
So basically they also piss off Kima, so they're kind of still balancing what Kima is.
Yeah.
Because this is the few times I've actually met Kima for the first time. It becomes a pivotal role later on, but this is kind of still fresh and still trying to understand, and they're telling Kima not to do anything to Kuroda because there's a bit of tension there.
There's still that kind of distrust from Kima with Kuroda the Mind Flayer after she was captured by Elisia.
I love that. I love that tension they have, and the characters deciding to take one side and then the other, and half the party is split, saying, "No, we should trust Kuroda." No.
And this was an interesting character moment with Keyleth's sass.
Yeah, she goes in. She goes in.
Yeah, she's not that kind of awkward kind of character. Like I don't know whether she just like decided this episode she's going to change a little bit, but then just like revert back in later episodes. But you really notice it. Yeah. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it is worth note that Scanlan actually says we could just leave Grog. Do we really need him in the party? Like, we could just leave.
And then I think the comment was brought up they can't go into any more brothels.
Yeah. Might as well find him. Yeah. So essentially,
they have a rest.
They rest.
And then they basically figure out the plan. They're going to go stealth.
Yes.
After basically go along. This is kind of like a journey. Pretty much the next bit is kind of a journey into the battle.
Although we do before that, we get Kima's monologue, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. Essentially inspires and gives justice and cause to the...
It really shows Kima's characterization on
it. Yeah. Kima's a badass, man. The most frequent note that shows up in the early episodes in my notes is just Kima is a badass. And then, or in brackets, Kima does badass stuff.
And that's why everyone fell in love with Kima. It's sort of one of very pivotal.
Pivotal.
I'm trying to use a new word.
Okay. Verisimilitude. One of the things I think, because as a DM, I don't think you ever really know which of your NPCs are going to become regular NPCs that help the party, and it's more up to the party, I think, in those scenarios. Like you guys talk a lot to Blackhand and Queen Asalia,
and you were going to kill Queen Asalia right at the beginning.
That was the plan. Yeah, you guys saved her life. Anyway, essentially, the Platinum Dragon bestows a vision to Kima. And they see within that vision the terrible god of undeath.
Orcus.
Orthus.
Orcus?
Orus?
Orcus.
Warus.
O-R-C-U-S, the demon god of undeath.
Okay, see this is why we did the bit at the start. Knows what's going on, should know what's going on. Seeing
I kind of lay in between.
Yeah, we've got the full spectrum of knowing what's going on here in this episode. What was it? Orthus?
Orcus.
Why did I write Orthus? I wrote Orthus for some reason. I don't know. Must have hit it wrong.
I put Walrus.
Walrus. God of undeath.
I'm thinking about Walrus for some reason. It's the god of Walruses.
What's the guy from Sonic? The guy with the big mustache?
Oh, Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, Dr. Robotnik.
Everyone says that he's a walrus.
Yeah, he is.
Man, we're getting off track again. They get a vision, or Vena gets a vision of the god of undeath. And essentially he's chosen a champion to bring the doorway of oblivion to the mortal realm, which essentially would open up a floodgate of, oh crap, here we go, we're all going to die.
And that's not foreshadowing.
Some classic foreshadowing in the classic form of a vision. Now, they find out about the horns at this point.
Horns of Orcus?
The horns of Orcus. I was going to leave that for someone else to continue on the sentence, but
I think you can continue.
So, essentially, the horns have been taken and broken off, and essentially been split up and tried to keep under lock and key. Essentially, dangerous magical items that in the wrong hands could destroy the world. One horn belonged to Kavan, who was the leader of the Mind Flayers here of the Illithid.
He's still around.
He is still around,
Well,
yeah.
he's not the leader, he's taken over.
Yeah, he's the beholder that's kind of like...
Kind of leading, kind of forcing them to do what he wants.
He's a dictator.
He's got the Elder Brain at hostage, doesn't he?
He's essentially Kim Jong.
Yeah.
I don't know who's worse, Kavan.
He doesn't have the grey, like, one-piece suit going on, so...
Yeah, he's not much of a clothes wearer. I mean, probably the eyes. He doesn't have so many...
Maybe. I'm pretty sure Kim Jong wears a wig to hide all the eyes that he has.
Have you been to North Korea?
Few
Yeah.
times,
He
yeah.
just, like, walks through the street,
I
just,
bet-
like, shooting lasers at people.
Turns out all the pictures are lies. He really is just a beholder.
How did you guys not know that? I thought that was like common knowledge.
No, most of us aren't.
Insane.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I've got medication for that. Anyway, the horn belongs to Kavan, and that's what Kima was hunting originally as she came into this place. The vision quest that she'd been on had led her to find one of the horns of Orcus and take it back from Kavan, who was essentially stolen.
And that kind of helps once they've actually found Grog what to do next.
Yeah.
So I think Matt was just like, all right, I'm going to give them everything.
Yeah.
Then that way I don't need to keep subtly railroading them.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like as a DM you've got two choices about information. You can just hand it over willingly, which is useful in certain circumstances, and other times you want the players to find or work it out themselves.
It's good as well. It really sets up for the boss fight. They've seen these horrible aberrations with like stitched parts come through, and they fight one later on, and it's this real nice setup with a name and a vision. That this is some serious badass stuff that's going to fuck them up, and they know to take it seriously.
And it's built up to the first boss.
Yeah.
Really, this is built up.
Yeah, basically there's a lot of information here that is, you will know what this means when you see it. Kind of thing.
So basically they follow the trail of the Queen and Grog, and basically they just kind of journey, and then they kind of come across, I can't remember,
The blurry creature.
smell of freshly...
Oh, yeah.
Freshly-ish?
Vic smells fresh blood, and then
Freshly-ish.
Fresh-ish.
Yeah.
You're not
Freshly-ish.
Sean Connery.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Fresh. Okay, maybe.
They even do a Sean Connery impression in that.
I'll cut that out.
Yeah. Don't cut that out. I'm on that note. You like trying to rip us. It's like, that's what they had.
Vic smells fresh blood, and essentially they find a whole bunch of body parts of Durigar. And their first thought is this could be Grog's work, but they soon find that is not the case.
Yeah, they see an abomination versus kind of dark dwarfs kind of going on.
Yeah.
Is it an abomination? Is it like it's abomination-esque?
I think
that's
Matt
the
calls it an
description.
abomination.
Yeah.
He said it was like an abomination. I don't know if it actually was.
Well,
but
essentially-
yeah, that's probably so. Abomination is pretty loose.
Yeah.
Kind of title anyway.
So essentially it's a creature moving with unnatural speed around the camp, and eventually it tries to grab hold of them where they are. And
then a battle.
and
Basically-
roll initiative, essentially.
Now we don't go into too much of the battle because
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes on in a battle, and if you go by step, we'll be here all day.
And it's not too fun to hear us talking about a battle. We like to give like the highlights and cool moments from it, but if we say here for...
But to put it in like a World of Warcraft terms, it's basically a tank and spank operation.
Yes, exactly. For
Pretty-
those of you who don't know what that means.
It's pretty much you just like everyone on the boss, make sure that the boss kind of just targets the right people.
And then just damage.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's essentially what happens.
Yeah. However, at this point, Trinket falls into the carpet of bones at the bottom of this kind of cavern where they find themselves. I actually have a screenshot that I'm editing this one, right?
Yeah.
I have a screenshot that I'll put here, which is Vex's face when Trinket has to make a death save.
One of the many.
Yeah, and essentially she breaks down and cries.
And I think
love
this is
Trinket.
like the start of everyone's like saying Trinket's useless, but don't say that to Laura. Kind of mentality.
So essentially, like the skeletons, which Trinket's unconscious body has fallen, start like grabbing him and pulling him down into the sea of bones, which is not good.
Not good at all. But basically the battle keeps happening, and then Percy gets the hell you want to do this with an epic nat 20.
Yes,
As
with
he does.
42
Classic
points.
Percy.
But
Yeah.
no mercy Percy.
No Mercy
No
Percy
Mercy
does
Percy.
42 points of damage, which at the start of the campaign they're only level, what, 12? 11?
I think
9 or 10?
Yeah,
9 or
9 or 10. I think.
That's decent. That's
They
decent.
don't always specify when they level up. Sometimes
Yeah.
they do, sometimes they don't. But I understand when they first started the stream, they were around about 9 or 10.
Yeah, and essentially the brains of this creature get splattered all over Vax, which was suitably gorish for the end of such an epic fight. And essentially then they all start to try and pull Trinket up, who's already made and failed a death save.
Yeah.
Mm.
But at this point, they kind of, if someone's like at this point, they pretty much save him. Yeah, so...
They try multiple things. Keyleth tries a couple of spells. Tiberius tries Mage Hand to pull him up, all that kind of stuff. They eventually get him back.
Yeah. It's just a lot of time that takes place doing that. But I think essentially... Oh,
yeah, I was just going to say, the range of faces we got from Vex during that was nothing short of wonderful.
Put another one there. It has to be a different one.
Oh, fuck.
And well,
I'm going to put it over your head.
Do it. And so basically they carry on and find some more Duragar wielding cart. And then they basically come upon the Queen and Grog. And they see Grog like, a little bit tortured, a bit battered. Obviously, the idea is that they're trying to turn him into an abomination as well.
Yeah.
But that's where the episode ends.
Yeah. So, Max, classical Critical Role, what did you think?
Classical. You say that
I
every
do.
time.
Every
Classical
single time.
Critical Role.
I have to learn some new words.
In
terms of standard dungeon creatures, very, very
So you want
problems.
classical?
Well, that more boss fight, kind of higher end level, less typical.
So this wasn't a typical one?
This was a what are you?
Was it classical?
I know what he's trying to say.
I know. That's what
I don't. So that's impressive.
Classical.
This was lots of fantasy leading up to a giant boss fight involving gods. This was more of a go through a dungeon. Oh my god, what is that? We don't know. We have to try and figure out how to fight it.
Classical Max.
Okay, I promise. For the next episode we do of this, I will come up with a new word other than classical.
And that will be a joy because you'll probably forget that you made that promise and then you'll
I'll say classical next week.
And then I'll bring it up.
I'll totally just cut this bit out.
It'll be like classical Ollie.
I actually do think I've said it in every single video we've done of the
classical
episodes.
And you say it when we're wrapping up as well.
Yeah.
You say classical. You do it in this motion. Classical dungeon crawling. Classical critical role.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah.
I'm putting my helm of confusion back on.
And
the hat of shame.
Yeah. Shame. Yeah.
Anyway, so
that's it. Yeah.
So ultimately, it was basically it felt like more of a filler episode.
Really?
For me, a little bit because essentially all they did was kind of just track down the Queen where Grog was.
I don't know. I think
isn't a huge step from where they were in the last episode. Last episode, the Queen just gets away. Now they track down the Queen in the same boat again.
I think it's a transitional episode from the story arc of saving Kima to what comes next.
Isn't that what a filler is?
Filler is more, we need time before this thing happens. When this is more like we're prepping you for what's going to happen.
Well, I kind of feel like that they're filling in the time because Grog wasn't there.
Right.
Because Travis wasn't
there.
there.
Yeah, of course, the plot line of Grog being taken and stuff.
Which is because Travis couldn't be there for these
that part of it was filler.
Yeah.
But I think there's also some important stuff of the visions and,
what to do. Yeah, I guess in that point it was a lot of with the information that Kima gave, I guess it was a lot of more new information that helps with the plot. So I guess it's not...
So not like too many critical plot things happen, but at the same time there was integral stuff in this episode.
Yeah, to know to go to Kavan after they find and rescue Grog. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I think it's around about this episode where they start finally fixing the audio issues, the microphones with all the scratchy, fluffy noises.
One thing I did notice, the camera was kind of low on the top, for the top one. They're kind of like showing it from this angle.
Right.
And then more eye level.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're looking more up than...
I mean, they're sort of figuring things out.
I guess we find it more interesting from a technical point because
we stream,
and refining what we're doing and kind of learning how these guys did it back then. I mean, they've still got the chat on the left-hand side, which goes so fast that at this point, it's not really usable. Yeah. And I don't know I can't remember how many episodes they keep having that until they get rid of it, but it's reached the point where that doesn't really matter.
It doesn't add too much because you can't focus on it and then look and the comments are just
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah. But I still think it's fun seeing a group that has already gelled. They've already hit their stride, which is cool.
Percy's using his voice. Taliesin is using the Percy voice now.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if he did that last episode, but I really noticed it this episode.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't remember though. He may have been using it last time. I just didn't notice before. But this episode definitely noticed he was using that more posh voice. Yeah.
I think we agreed that Grog was probably one of the first characters to really get into their voice.
Yeah.
Vax doesn't do it till a bit later on.
And Tiberius.
Yeah.
And Tiberius.
Tiberius.
Vax, definitely Vax or Vex they kind of at the same time start using those voices.
I was trying to discern if the forgetfulness of Tiberius, the fact when he's trying to take an action in combat and he keeps forgetting what he can do and what's going on, is actually part of his character, or if that's just him not... It's just spending too much attention on the pizza.
It's a grey area.
There was a lot... When Tiberius eventually leaves, there's a big controversy of what he brought to Critical Role.
Yeah.
There's a lot of indications he was fudging rolls. There was a lot of indication that he was changing some rules. Now, whether this is all just speculation. But there's rewatching some of the episodes and there's some questionable times. I'm just like, I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah. I mean, I love Tibbs as a character. I think his voice is probably my favourite out of all of Lost.
This is where you separate the character from the player, though. It's like the character's fine, but Orion, the way he plays it, is sometimes a little bit questionable.
Oh, hello, Tiberius Stormwind. Pleased to meet you. And he bobs around a lot. I like that. Anyway.
Cool story, bro.
I want to get like a little tally counter of how many times you say that throughout the videos.
I've only said it twice now.
Oh, there you go. Video. Okay, I just do it with my hand then. I don't need to edit a video thing. And so yeah, essentially that's episode 8, Glass and Bone, leading up to what they now know to be their next main objective: find the horns of Ors. And
Kavan.
That's what I said. No, Kavan.
Horn of Orcus.
Yeah.
Horns of Orcus.
Kavan has.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to seeing that, and obviously we will be back next week to do episode 9. And I'm really enjoying watching these vintage episodes of Critical Role.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we're going to be stop doing these additional recaps. We're still doing them once the one-shots and breaks happen.
Yeah.
But it's good to kind of get a lot under our belt.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Essentially, if you don't know, every time they do a one-shot, we will review a vintage episode of Critical Role.
I think I made that promise in there.
No, yeah, now we have to stick to it. Yeah. But I'm actually having a really good time because it's real good to get inspiration from the later episodes, what we're up to now with the live stream. The
classical D&D?
Vanilla D&D.
Vanilla?
And
Vanilla?
it's cool seeing two different styles almost of play. They've evolved and changed so much, and so has the story. That it's cool to see both, and it's good to get inspiration from there and there. And yeah, it's just fun. It's fun being with them.
So there we go. Now we might as well plug something that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing a podcast this week for the first time. This is going to be the D20 After Hours. You're not going to be there because you're working, but we will have Thomas there. And one other player, which we have not yet decided because we're lazy.
I'm lazy. He's very organised.
No, I'm still lazy because I could have asked.
Right. So it's actually a new podcast coming out on the channel, D20 After Hours. It's your chance to watch us, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to write up a small disclaimer that says we're not responsible for the things we say because...
We sometimes are, though.
We sometimes get a bit off track.
We will be posting it on YouTube the following Monday, but if you want to watch it live on Twitch that we have on Saturdays, join our Twitch and put the alerts on, or join our Discord. We will be announcing it there too. Yeah,
so that's pretty much us for this week for NPCs of Tal'Dorei. We are still looking forward to starting NPCs of Wildmount, which is going to be the review and recap of the new campaign beginning next year.
We already have one video up. So
we've got one speculation of Wildmount video. Thank you so much, Max, for coming along. And from myself, Oliver, Dungeon Master, Dave, Stefan the Player, and
Max. You have the last word.
Eat lots of broccoli.
I like broccoli.
Yeah, it's good. Alright, thanks. I'm going to go have some broccoli.
He didn't actually leave, he's just there.
Hello and welcome to NPCs of Tal'Dorei, reviewing one of the classical episodes of Critical Role, episode 8. This week we've got a wonderful guest, Max.
Who knows more than Ollie.
Well, I mean,
which isn't hard, because there's a lot of people that know more than Ollie.
Oh, that's...
You probably know more than Ollie. Ollie, I like how you defend yourself right now.
Facts. In Cleveland, Ohio, wearing a bathing suit.
You know more about defending yourself than Ollie does.
Mic drop.